Hi, I'm Jen Cole from Depict Media, and you are listening to the Social Media Talks podcast with Alan Hennessy from compassmedia.ie.
Before we begin this episode, we'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors and also our supporters. The Social Media Talks podcast is sponsored by ContentCal, creating a solution to simplify and speed up how teams can plan, collaborate on, approve, publish and analyze social media content in a familiar and intuitive calendar interface. In just 3 years, they have been trusted by over 10,000 businesses and agencies in 110 countries to deliver social media content at scale and have recently won an award for the Content Management Tool of the Year. For more information on ContentCal, visit their website at contentcal.io. We would also like to remind you the Social Media Talks podcast is proudly supported by charityradio.ie, one of Ireland's leading online radio stations supporting charities across Ireland for free. And now, this week's episode.
Welcome to Social Media Talks podcasts, brought to you by compassmedia.ie.
Hello and thank you for joining me. This is the Social Media Talks podcast, brought to you by compassmedia.ie, episode number 81. I'm your host, Alan Hennessy, and this is the podcast to help business owners who want to learn more about social media marketing. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. You can also join our Facebook group by logging on to facebook.com/groups/social media talks. And we're looking forward to today's show. Today I'm going to be joined by Jen Cole from Depict Media and also the Social Media Examiner. And Jen is a social media specialist and community manager with a confident history in digital marketing. While she is the co-founder of the social media marketing firm Depict Media, based in Wichita in Kansas, she is also the community manager for San Diego-based Social Media Examiner and the producer of the Social Media Examiner's #SME chat. Jen has been a guest on several Twitter chats, including SEM Rush Chat, the Twitter Smarter Chat, and #Digital360 Chat. She has also appeared as a guest on several podcasts, including Marketing Buzzword podcast with Ben Roberts and many others as well. She also has her own podcast, Making a Marketer, which she co-hosts with Megan Power, and has hosted many of the world's renowned industry experts such as Brian Fanzo, Madalyn Sklar, to name but a few. Jen has a strong belief that social media channels should be utilised to grow tight-knit organic communities of followers who generally identify with a brand. And a fun fact about Jen, she is also an internationally ranked pinball player as well. And today we're going to be talking to Jen all about building communities organically on social media. So without further ado, I think we will transition straight over to the interview with Jen. Hi Jen, how are you? Thanks for joining us today on the Social Media Talks podcast. It's a pleasure to have your company. How are you?
I am doing wonderful today. I'm looking forward to a wonderful weekend and a wonderful day ahead.
Brilliant stuff. And of course, we are going to be talking all about how to build, I suppose, communities organically through social media. And I think before we start and we get stuck into our chosen topic, if you could give us a little bit of a background on yourself just before we get started. I know there's a lot of people out there that will know you, but for others who don't, well, this is their chance to find out all about Jen Cole.
Well, I am Jen Cole, and I live in Wichita, Kansas in the United States. And I have been in the social media marketing industry for about 8 or 9 years now. I originally started doing social media marketing when I was trying to market my own Zumba classes. I don't know if a lot of people know what Zumba is. It's kind of, it's dance exercise. And so I was a Zumba instructor, and I was wanting to market my classes. And so I created a Facebook page and and grew a community organically based off of who came to my classes and who came to my events. And then I eventually went on to move into taking on an internship in Kansas City. And then, long story short, I eventually worked for a couple of agencies, and then Social Media Examiner picked me up about 3.5 years ago. So now I work as the community manager for San Diego-based Social Media Examiner. And then I co-found Depict Media in Wichita, Kansas. And we do very similar work to what you do, Alan. We coach people. We work on social media and digital marketing projects with people. And then we also do some social media marketing management. And then we do chatbots as well.
Brilliant stuff. Yes, indeed. I'm busy.
Indeed.
Very, very busy at the moment. Yeah. So, yeah, brilliant. That's brilliant stuff. And of course, today we're going to be talking all about building our communities on social media organically. And I think it's so important when we talk about social media that, there's a lot of people will say, oh, well, you're only going to get your followers and so on and so forth through paid advertising and stuff like that. And I always have a bit of a hang up when it comes to that, because I say, if your content is good, people will follow you, and it will grow organically. So I suppose, what are your viewpoints on actually building, communities organically across social media?
Well, this is exactly what I do. My job and my role in Depict Media is to help clients learn how to grow their community organically. My business partner, Julie, she does all the paid and all the chatbot stuff, but my job is to write the content or teach the clients how to do this all organically and build a strong community around their brand. And then also, clearly, that's my job at Social Media Examiner too. I go in and I'm responding to comments all the time, or I'm tagging people, or I'm leading a Twitter chat, which has grown our community phenomenally in an organic way in the last year. That Twitter chat is a year old now, and it's just been amazing the things that has happened on Twitter because of how well we've grown that community now and how much we've nurtured that specific community. So another thing that we've done at Depict Media is host a live show. We've had this Facebook live show called Depict This. And I have to preface this by saying Depict Media has never ran a like campaign for our Facebook page ever in the existence of the page. We have 961 likes on our Facebook page, and every single one of those likes has been organic. And I strongly attribute that to our Facebook Live strategy.
I think that's so important as well. Like, we're similar to yourself in that respect, that we have never paid. I think it's if people see your content and they understand and they see what your message is and you're getting that across to them and they like it, they are going to follow you. It's like anything in life. If it's something that's interesting, people will home in on it as much as anything.
Yeah, the more value you bring them, the more time that they're going to want to spend with you and your brand and on your pages.
With regards to engagement and content and planning it out, what would be your tips, and what has worked for yourself, and what would you suggest to business owners who are listening to this of how to go ahead and start building up that organic reach?
It can be a daunting task to think about planning content. So a smart thing to do, and one thing that we've done is we will break it up to week by week, baby steps. So we will create content for an entire week for whatever platform they're looking at. If they're just on Facebook and Instagram, we will plan content for 1 week and just get it written, get the images put together, and get it scheduled. And one thing that has really saved our sanity is using the scheduling tool Agorapulse. I don't know if you're familiar with what Agorapulse is. Probably you are. Yeah. Most people in our industry are very familiar with what Agorapulse is, but it's really saved our booties when it comes to scheduling and monitoring. And, because it's one thing to have content going all the time and scheduling that to post, but the real key to building community is to then come back and engage with the people that are commenting on your stuff, that are sharing your posts, that are mentioning your your brand in their posts. If you sit there and don't pay any attention to the love that you're getting from other people, they're going to get kind of tired of engaging with you when they see nothing back. I mean, there are big brands out there that I used to constantly tweet. I would tweet them all the time and never got anything back. So I decided, you know what? No worries. I'm more of a support local person anyway. I'm going to quit reaching for this big brand that doesn't even acknowledge my existence. And I'm going to tweet out the little guys because I love their coffee more anyway.
And I think it's so important, like that, especially that aspect. And I would be a big advocate of that is scheduling your content and having it out there. But I suppose the key is as you say, it's engaging when someone does come back and comment, is making sure that you're there. And, it's not 6 days later or 7 days later when the whole basis of what they were talking about is over and gone with it. So I think it's very important. I think monitoring and listening to what your audience is saying, I think is key important here with regards to social. And, especially when you're on the types of, say, Facebook, I often use the analogy of if we're standing in a bar and you said something to me and I just stuck my thumb up and gave you a thumbs up, would you still engage with me after 5 or 6 times when I'd done it? And they went, no. And I said, well, then why are you doing this online? Because that's what a lot of people do. And they don't. I think that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks for a lot of people.
It really is. And then the cool thing is, and people just, I don't think they really realize that this is a possibility. But the more we get our audience to engage with us and answer our questions and keep a conversation going, two things can happen. One, we learn more about them and we're able to tailor our conversations better to them to bring them better value. And two, they can take that conversation in a direction that we as a marketer, we as a brand never even fathomed. We learn so much from our audience when we pay attention to them and spend time with them, whether it's Facebook Live, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram messaging or Instagram stories or whatever platform. The more that we engage them, the more we learn, and then the better our content can be for them.
And I think it is as you say, it's a great research tool as much as anything else, because we're constantly learning. And as you said, like I had it only a couple of weeks ago with a particular client, and they were putting out content, and someone actually said something, and they went, okay, well, let's answer that. And we literally went within, I suppose, about a half an hour of answering it, the whole thread just disappeared into a whole different new angle. And I was just like, yes, this is incredible. And they even said, right, okay, well, let's push this a little bit more. And they actually did start pushing it. And they found that they got a much better return on their investment in social media. And this is, we would have never even thought about going down that road. So yeah,
it's amazing the things that we can learn from our people. It's just fascinating. If you will devote the time and just really hang out with them as if you would hang out with your friends or family, just give them the same amount of time and consideration, it'll pay back in huge ways.
Yeah, and I noticed that it's just we're talking about, I suppose, return in relationship and all of that. And I know when we interviewed Madalyn Sklar here a couple of months back, and we were talking about Twitter, and she was saying about, video chats and using video on Twitter, and she says a lot of people don't use it. And she, as you probably aware of it, is with our video reply day and stuff like that. And she replies to people with through video. And I was saying, like, that's a great idea. And she did it. Like, I remember the first time when I connected with her, she went, "Hi, Alan." I'm going, wow, to get that interaction. She says, as she said, it takes maybe 5-10 seconds for me to just say hello and thanks for joining us. And it means so much to people. And I think that's a key important part of it, because I think when we go on social, we become digital monsters, because we become different people than if I met you face to face. We're going to be totally different. If we're acting totally different online, we're going, well, why are you doing this? It's really, there's two words there. It's social and it's media. So why not bring them two together and use them for what they're supposed to be?
Exactly.
Look it up in the dictionary and you'll see what social means to be social, so. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Keep the social in social media. It's what it's supposed to be for.
Very good, very good. And then I suppose about creating, when you say about creating content, and we're talking, I know you were talking earlier on there about creating content, would you do a lot of, I suppose, batch content for a particular week and then sort of break it out that way?
Yeah, batching your content is an amazing time saver. And and when you batch your content, it also keeps a level of consistency to your content too. So when we go do photo shoots for clients, it's amazing how, the lighting is the same, the color palette's the same, everything is consistent. You're getting a whole bunch of different images or video, but there's still that consistency. There's still that familiarity that is tied directly to your brand that people come to expect. And it's wonderful for saving time as well. So you batch create your content, you have a Google Drive full of images and videos, and then you just kind of pull from this awesome library of content that you've already created. Maybe mock it up a little bit in Canva or whatever. But Canva is another amazing tool that helps us keep a level of consistency and branding to our content as well. I mean, there's just no reason not to have beautiful branded content if you really put the time and skill into it. But I definitely think that batch creating content it's a breath of fresh air. It takes the elephant off your chest because your work is done. It makes it so much easier for you to just go be a real person throughout the week because you've batch created your content, you've scheduled your content. Now all you have to do is come back and join the party. That's really it.
Yeah. And I think that's key important as well. Like when we look, like as you say, when you're batching content and when you haven't, because we're all busy lives, and I suppose most small and medium sized businesses, they don't sit there and say, right, okay, for the week I'm going to sit at this computer and this is all I'm going to do, because they have a business to run, which has to create revenue for them. So I think there's like, if you can create that batch content, I think it says so much, it takes so much hassle away from you. And when you say, right, okay, all I have to do is engage here and just monitor, and happy days, and your content is going out every day, and it's I think that's the trick to this. And I think most agencies, and especially with ourselves, we would do a lot of that. So instead of sitting day to day and say, okay, what am I going to post today, how am I going to post it, it's already planned out, and I think that's where the strategy comes in. And have you any suggestions for people when it comes to strategies?
Definitely. There are 3 things when building your organic community that I would definitely suggest you spend some time developing, planning, and researching. And the first one is, I have to say it because it's worked so well to build our community here in Wichita and actually around the world, is to have a live video strategy. Because what we do on our live video, it's a Friday show, and we host it at 4 p.m. Central Time every single Friday. And we do it in a brewery called the Hopping Gnome. And we sit there and we sip beers. It's kind of happy hour on a Friday anyway. And the whole vibe of the show and the whole point of the show is to host somebody in the Wichita area that is making a difference or doing something absolutely amazing. Or maybe their business just opened and they're going to be a really awesome addition to our city. And we're excited about that. But we're highlighting somebody else on our Friday show every single week. It's brought people closer to us personally, and it's definitely brought people closer to our brand. And we know so many people that we wouldn't normally know because of it. It's been amazing. We have emails coming in from people. Hey, we heard about your show. I have this person that I think that would be great to be on your show. And I'm like, wow, I don't even have to book my own show anymore. Pretty amazing. So that's been nice for sure. And I honestly believe that it can work for anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same format that we use, but definitely show up and have a live video strategy. Get out there and connect in real time with the people that love you. And then the second thing you definitely need to do if you're going to be growing a community organically, and we've talked already about this, but that is engagement. Have an engagement strategy. It's so important to make sure that you're taking a couple of times a day. Maybe it's 10 or 15 minutes, 2 times a day, just coming back to your pages and acknowledging comments and commenting back to people, taking the conversation further, asking them another question that you have about whatever comment they left. Just engage. It can be as easy as like scrolling through Instagram and just liking and commenting on a few posts that you see. Just be there, be present. and be part of everyone else's conversation. And then the third thing that has helped in a huge way, especially of course on Instagram and Twitter, is to have a hashtag strategy. It doesn't take very long to do research on the hashtags that are being used in your industry and by the people that inspire you. So just sit down, take about 10 or 15 minutes, do the hashtag research, and then have a few lists of hashtags that you use on different kinds of posts for Instagram. And make sure on every tweet you're having at least 2 to 3 hashtags that have something to do with the tweet that you're sending out. And the power of the hashtag is absolutely amazing. So those are the 3 things that I would definitely suggest: is a live video strategy, an engagement strategy, and a hashtag strategy. For sure.
Yeah, and I think all 3 are the vital components of building a brand and building a brand, but also building a community. Is like, when we talk about hashtags, I think a lot of people they make mistakes when it comes to hashtags. I'm not going to say that they don't do it right, because they do. They are using hashtags, but they're just not using the correct ones, or they're not using the right ones, or they don't understand the basis of building that and using a hashtag. And I would always say to businesses out there, have your own hashtag. It's not like you can't own it, but make sure that's something that's associated. Like we have, for instance, on the podcast here, we have SM Talks. That's the hashtag we always use, because at least then it helps us with the brand. It gives awareness, but it also helps us on the other side. And this is a thing that I don't think a lot of people remember is that, when we're doing some research, we just go into, whether it be Twitter or Instagram or wherever the hashtags we're using it, we will actually go in and just type that in, and we can see all the content that's actually happening, or people that's mentioned as the brand and whatever. So it's another way for us to find out more information as well. And that's where I think hashtags are so important when it comes to social.
Yeah, you can find accounts that align with everything that you believe that you would have never found before if it were for hashtags. I like to follow hashtags on Instagram. I'm learning so much about Glacier National Park just because I follow that hashtag. Now I want to go live there. That place is beautiful, and it's all because of a stinking hashtag. I didn't even know about the place until I started following that hashtag. Oh my goodness. You can learn so much from a hashtag.
And I think there's we had Jen Harmon on, which I know you're a good friend of, and she was talking all about hashtags. And I was amazed at some of the content that she was talking about and saying, using up to 30 hashtags on Instagram and stuff like that. And, you never think to be doing this on Instagram, and it's only when you start actually using them and you see the benefits of how people do it. Because I remember I was only teaching there a couple of weeks back, and I mentioned that someone says to me, how many hashtags should I use on Instagram? And I went straight in, I went 30, and they went, where am I going to get 30 hashtags? And I'm going, research. And when I broke it down, and I had referenced, of course, Jen, and was saying that, and they all went, oh, I never seen it that way. They just, because I think people just go, oh, I'll use that hashtag and I'll use that hashtag. They don't actually, as you say, use the research to figure it out. And when they do that, it just makes it so much easier.
There are amazing tools out there. I mean, or you can just even Google hashtags affiliated with digital marketing, and you will get lists. It really just doesn't take a whole lot of time out of your day to research hashtags around an industry or a person. It really maximizes the reach of your content. And, we were having a conversation this weekend it was Jen Herman and Jennifer Watson and myself. And Jennifer Watson brought up a wonderful point about just being a maximizer. She uses as many hashtags, and she uses all of the ways to optimize all of her content just to maximize every single thing that she puts out there. And I mean, think of how many missed opportunities you could have just for not trying. I mean, that's all you have to do is you try. You take 10, 15 minutes out of your day, do the research, and maximize your content, and then who knows what could happen.
I find that personally what I do is I have, and you did touch on it there, is I have about 5 or 6 different groups of hashtags that I actually use. Instead of going, all right, we're using the same ones all the time. So it depends on the subject that I'm talking about, and I'll use the hashtags. There's some really great tools out there, as you said. That hashtagify me is great. What was there was another one there that I found. Tribal list. Very good one.
Oh, I haven't used that.
Yeah, it's actually quite good. Now, I found that was quite good. So we sort of, we went in and had a look at it, and I went, this is interesting. So, is there any others that you would suggest that we could use?
No, Hashtagify is definitely the top of my list. And a lot of the times, sometimes I'll just go into Google and just quickly search it and click into whatever website I'm seeing that's bringing up hashtags, and it's really that easy. It is not a thing at all. And then one thing about Agorapulse, I have to bring this back up, is the cool thing about scheduling in Agorapulse is they let you store hashtags. Like all of those hashtag lists that you have, you can title them and then just list out all of the hashtags, all 30 hashtags, and then just add that list of hashtags to your Instagram post. It's amazing. Yeah, and it really saves you a lot of time because they're already stored right there.
Yeah, and that is key. Yeah. Time is of the essence, I suppose, as much as anything else. And brilliant. With regards to, we're talking about engagement and stuff like that. Do you have, and I know it's about connecting, and I understand that, it's about answering comments and stuff like that. I've used many a time, and I think it's a great piece for creating engagement, is ask that question. I think that, when you start asking questions to your audience to find out what their thing is, it really just adds to engagement on your content. Yeah.
Ask them a question, do a poll. We did a poll last week on the Social Media Marketing World event page. And it's amazing how many people not only voted, but how many people wrote a comment with their answer or why they voted the way that they voted. And it was just about Instagram stories. It was about Instagram stories put out a whole bunch of new features. Have you tried them yet? And so there was the option, Instagram who's new features, or no, I wasn't even aware. I don't use Instagram stories. There's all these options, and we had a lot of people vote. A lot of people have fun with it. It's just another form of content that's engaging and fun for the people that come to visit your page. And I think asking questions is awesome.
Yeah, and I think it is. And it's like, even like we've done one or two where we've actually said, like, we were working with a dental surgery, and we says, in an emoji, tell us what your feelings are about going to the dentist. And it literally got I must have got 100 comments on it, and we were like, but it was all emojis, and I says, this is brilliant. But it was, and what people don't realize as well is that's engagement. And that's also showing the platforms that that you're doing the work and whatever. And when they see that, it gives you that extra boost on the platforms with the platforms.
Yeah, it brings up the value of your page in the eyes of the algorithm for sure when you're getting that kind of traction on a post.
That dirty word, as I always call it, that algorithm word. I think everyone, when you hear when it comes out, Facebook have just changed the algorithm, you go, oh no, where am I going now? Where am I going now? Right. I don't know. I was looking at it there. I was only the other day. I was looking, and Mari Smith was talking about the Facebook creator suite now on that. Have you used that, or have you even?
Yeah, I use it a lot. I am one of the few people that is quickly falling in love with Creator Studio. I love it for video optimization purposes. I tested posting to IGTV yesterday on my personal, because I have my personal brand page connected to my personal Instagram page. And so it's been so much fun. And I just did a lot of exploration yesterday, but it was all stemmed from a blog article that Jen Herman wrote for Social Media Examiner. I think it was last week or the week before, about using Creator, being a creator on Instagram, but then also using Creator Studio. So it's pretty amazing. I'm liking it. It hasn't been so glitchy for me, knock on wood. And no, I'm just really enjoying the cross-posting, the video optimization, the scheduling, and the analytics too.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's it. And like, as I said, I only had a quick look at it. I think it was yesterday. I went in and I says, I think we'll be looking at that in a lot more detail, because I think it's very good because of what I can do. It gives you a lot more flexibility within the platform, and obviously within Instagram as well. So, and I think that's what people are looking for now, I think. So it's very good, very good. I could sit here and talk to you all day about building communities and organic, reach, and so it is. I think it really has. I think the keys here, the key points, and I suppose the key takeaways here from this is to create your strategy, engage with people and plan your content. And, most of all, that's, I think, be good and be nice to people and engage with them. And that's what's going to help you build. I think it's really, really, so you've given some fantastic insights and fantastic tips here as well, Jen. Every week on the podcast, we usually ask our guests one question that's not related to the podcast, but it's just a bit of fun. So I'm going to ask you, and that question is if you had the chance to go to dinner or invite someone to dinner, whether it be past or present, who would it be and why?
I think it would have to be my granddaddy. And the reason why is because I think it would be a lot of fun to catch him up on everything that I've done with my life, since he passed away when I was in college. And so he didn't get to see like all of this stuff that I do now. And I think that it would be really, really fun to talk to him about it and bring him into that part of my world.
Brilliant stuff. Jen, how can people get in contact with you if they want to reach out to you?
If you want to direct message me or follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I am Jen Cole, ICT. And on Facebook, just look me up. I am Jen Cole. I have a Facebook page that is called Jen Cole, and the username is Jen Cole Community. So yeah, those would definitely be the ways. You can read my blog posts on www.depict-media.com. Or you can find me on the Social Media Examiner Facebook page, Twitter account, or Instagram account at any time, I promise.
You're everywhere across social anyway, and that's it.
I hang out there
I think it's just Google Jen Cole and you will find exactly where she is. Jen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you here today, and thanks so much for coming on the podcast and chatting with us. And we wish you continued success in the future, and we shall talk to you soon. So thanks a lot again for coming on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Alan. It's been amazing.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on the Social Media Talks podcast, and hopefully you learned some great information and also insights from our guests today. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. And all of our podcasts are available on all the usual podcast providers, including Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Mixcloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And we would be delighted if you would leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, as we are always thrilled to receive your feedback on any of the programs. You can also subscribe to the podcast there so you never miss an episode as well. And if you'd like the show notes for this episode or for any of the previous episodes, please log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/show notes. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please do get in contact with us. All you have to do is email us at smtalks@compassmedia.ie. And if you'd like to find out more about the services that Compass Media provide, from social media marketing and training to podcast services, please visit our website for more details. You can also reach out and connect with me across all of the social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I will personally answer every one of your requests. That's about all for today. I've been Alan Hennessy from Compass Media for the Social Media Talks podcast, and we look forward to talking to you next week. And as I always say, be social. So until next week at the same time, bye-bye.
Social Media Talks podcast is a production from compassmedia.ie.